All right, so continuing on with some solving when we have the variable on both sides of the equal sign. Again, I'm going to put this line through the equal sign. Sorry, let me move the cat from between me and the microphone. So when I'm looking at this one, I notice that on the left-hand side, I have 2 b's, and then on the right-hand side, I have the 4. And so I'm going to combine these first before I move anything. So here we're going to have 1b plus 1b, which is 2b, plus 18 equals 4b. Now, in this case, where the b is the only thing on the right-hand side of the equal sign, I am going to move all of my b's to that side because it doesn't make sense to move the 4. You've got to have variables on one side, numbers on the opposite side. And so it just makes sense to move my variables to the side where there's only variables. So since this is a positive 2b, I'm going to subtract 2b from both sides. And we get 18 equals 2b. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And so 9 equals b. And so what I can do is I could plug that in and make sure that it works. So that would look like 9 plus 18 is equal to 4 times 9. And so here we'd have 18 plus 18 is equal to 36. And 18 plus 18 is 36. And so the left equals the right. And so B equaling 9 is correct. And again, this up here is just me double checking, and it can happen in your calculator. But if I did it in the calculator without showing you what I did, you would probably sit there and go, I don't know how you're getting that, Mrs. Cartwright. So that's why I write it out for you. All right, so here we have fractions, and there are 2 ways to go about this. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I get rid of fractions. I could just treat fractions like we know to treat them, making sure we add or subtract, with like denominators, that we don't divide by fractions, we multiply by their reciprocal. But my favorite thing is just to multiply the fraction out. And so I do that by multiplying everything by the LCD. All right, or whatever a common denominator. All right, so in this case, my LCD is 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 because what I do to one side, I have to do the other side. And so I'm going to take 2 times the negative 1/2, and then I'm going to take 2 times the negative 5, and then 2 times the positive 1/2. So 2 times the negative 1/2 is just negative 1, because half of 2 is 1, and we have a positive times a negative, so it's negative. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and 2 times 1/2 is 1. And so now I'm going to just replace these. So we have a negative 1c minus 10 equals 1. And so now I have gotten rid of all the fractions, making it to where I'm at least working with whole numbers for the moment. So I need c's to one side. Oops, I left my c off here. So I'm going to add 1c to both sides. Since this is negative, I want to add to make it 0. And so now I have negative 10 equals 2c, because 1c plus 1c is 2c. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And so here we get negative 5 equals c. Now, the other way that we could have done this is I could have just left it as it was, negative 1/2 c minus 5 equals 1/2 c. And I can add 1/2 c to both sides. And negative 5 would be equal to 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. And so then that is my answer. But I know that when we see fractions, we tend to think that we can't do it. And that's part of the reason why we started off our year with fractions. So here are two ways. You can either do as you know you should with fractions and do your adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing with the fractions. Or you can just multiply by the LCD and you get rid of your fraction and you're working with whole numbers. So that is totally up to you. Last example for this lesson is decimals. I myself dislike decimals just because it means even though I could do it without a calculator, I tend to do decimals in the calculator. I just prefer whole numbers where I can. And so to get rid of decimals, I just multiply by a power of 10 based off of how many decimals. So if I have like 0.3, then I'm multiplying by 10 because that's going to move my decimal one place. Whereas if I have a 0.756, I'm going to multiply by 1,000 because that's going to move my decimal 1, 2, oops, don't do that, 1, 2, 3 places and give me whole numbers. And so that's why I'm going to first start this problem off by multiplying everything by 10. And I mean everything. So we're going to take 10 times 2, which is 20. So we have 20D plus, and then 10 times 9.7, which will give us 97. Then we're going to take 10 times negative 1D, so we have a negative 10D, and 10 times negative 17, so we have minus 170. From here, I'm just going to solve like we know. I have variables on both sides, so I'm going to add my smallest. Because this is a negative 10, I'm going to add it to both sides so that it becomes 0 on the right-hand side. So 20 plus 10 is 30. So we have 30D plus 97 equals a negative 170. And then I'm going to subtract the 97. So I'm going to subtract 97, making it 0 on the left-hand side. So we have 30D equals negative, and a negative means we're going to keep the negative and we're going to add them together. So that would be a 7. 7 and 9 is 16. So we have 267. We're going to divide both sides by 30. D is going to equal, I have a negative divided by a positive, so my answer is going to be negative. And then now we're going to take 267 divided by 30, and I get an answer of 8.9. Now, do you have to multiply everything by 10? No. Could you just have started solving? Yes. Will you get the same answer? Yes. As long as you multiply everything, you will get the same answer as if you didn't do the multiplication. I'm just showing you some tricks to the trade so that you can work with whole numbers as opposed to partial numbers. So that is it for our examples today. I'll see you on the flip side, 8th graders.